look up, it's Kanye. I was like, dear God, if you are there right now, please, I need him to come outside so I can say something to him in Jesus' name. And then Kanye walked right outside and I said,
Take me on a trip, I'd like to go someday. You'll be my American boy.
one of his friends actually came up with the, don't like his baggy jeans, but I might like what's underneath them. And I was just like, okay, who are you, young sir? And that's it. It took us, like I said, 15, 20 minutes to hit, and I left it and went home.
Will there ever be an American Boy 2.0?
There was a lot of like, why are you even bothering? I had people who would actively say she's a waste of money and then be clapping for me at the Mobos. I feel like the industry is like a death by a thousand cuts.
What was the moment where you felt like you were on the brink of losing it?
Oh, goodness. I was performing everywhere I could. Any stage I could get to. It doesn't matter the crowd. I'm having a fun time.
Behind the talent, they saw the passion. Were you the first person that John Legend signed?
He literally started a label to sign me. He believed in me that much. I get off the train at San Tropez. It's like 1 a.m. I'm on stage at 2. I drink half a bottle of vodka. My body wasn't working. Everything started slowing down. I get to a show and my voice don't want to sing.
Is there anything that we have not yet talked about that you want to talk about? We just hit 100,000 subscribers. So if you are subscribed, thank you so much. If you're not yet, please consider hitting subscribe. It's quick, it's easy, and it helps us grow our community. I've known you for 15 years. 15 years.
Yeah.
And I've also watched a million of your interviews, but I'm going to try to go in a different direction.
Okay.
If I can,
Shoot.
right? Because I really want to get into who you are behind the music, behind the career. And where I want to start is where you were born and where you grew up. All right, so where did you grow up?
I grew up in Hammersmith. I was born and raised in Hammersmith. Grew up in West Kent.
Yeah, I know that. My favorite theater is Lyric.
See? Okay, that's down the street from where I was born. Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Right. And so that was like all our walking distance, schools there, Lyric theaters there, Hammersmith shopping centers there, that whole King Street. That was our stomping ground. That was where we were from.
Yes.
Right? But my grandma had her house and my granddad when they first came here. And like maybe the 60s, early 60s.
Okay. Can I even ask you on that?
Yeah.
So your grandparents, is this from the Senegalese side?
Yeah.
Now, all right, this is the nerd in me.
Yeah.
Why did they come to the UK? Because I see that a lot of people who left Senegal would go to France.
Yeah.
So why the UK?
So my granddad, I think, came for work. And then my grandma followed. It was like, you got to come join your husband. And my mom came, she said, I think in 72, she was 12. And it was like the culture shock of culture shock. She came in a poncho. She still has it. She said she came in a poncho, the wool poncho, like to freezing London, like off the plane, like crazy. Like, what in the world are we walking into? And it was like a whole new home. From what she tells me, it was tough. Like, the thing wasn't easy. Like, there was a lot of everything you could think of from that era going on. The teddy boys, the racism, the let's go beat black people for no reason. All of that stuff happened. She could communicate so much with a look.
Yes.
She was the funniest, the loveliest, sit there and just bust it up for all times. But she had a moment where she would just look at you or look at whoever in the room. You knew exactly what time it was without having to say it. And I know that came from having to be in scenarios where you couldn't really, because of the era, you're a woman in the 50s and 60s, you had to be up under your husband. And then her husband was Muslim and she was Christian. And that was a whole nother changeover too.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So would you say that your grandmother was definitely the most influential figure within your family?
Yeah, very matriarchal family. She was definitely the one.
The one?
Yeah, she left us middle of last year. So that was tough. It was tough because I remember thinking, what am I going to do when she leaves? What am I going to do? And I know now.
Yes.
But I remember the feeling. It was tough. It was a tough year.
I'm sorry to hear that because that's recent for you.
Yeah.
When you go back to you being a little girl, and you think about your grandmother, right? What values do you believe that she instilled in you?
Oh. Okay, so, and I didn't know this at the time, but I trace it back to her being a Libra. She's very much like look good when you leave the house. Go back, go change. I think it was more for her, especially about like, you're never gonna tell me my kids look less than, you know? Especially again, you got to think of the era, you know, like coming from Africa, you already looked at as like less than in, you know, in those eras. And let's be truthful, like they were not the nicest of black, well, they were absolutely racist and all the things. And one of the things she told me, I guess, later, that everyone's always like, well, finally you got braces. I said, because my nan told me to. Nothing to do with you people. Everything was blowing up. American Boy was out. She was like, look at you, look so pretty. Go get these fixed.
Oh, wow.
I said, okay.
Only because she told you.
Smoothly. I was, and this is the pride in the sense of self my parents and family raised us with. They're like, you're good. Like, you don't allow other people to dictate what this is, you know, who and how this moves.
So was it like this idea of, if I show up correct, right, then I'll feel better about, I'll have more confidence?
It was some of that. And it was also like, why would you fight yourself? Like, why wouldn't you want to look your best?
Right.
You know, if there's a thing to help you look your best, go do it.
Go do it.
Yeah, if it makes you feel good and it's not based on somebody else's stuff, go do it.
Okay.
You know?
All right. I love it. I love it. So it was a big household, though.
It's huge.
All right. So how many brothers and sisters?
All right. So
for you?
In my immediate, there are 9. And then I have cousins and nieces and nephews, and there's so many of us. But my grandma had 7 kids. And we're our own, I would say we're our football team. We're our own best friends.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're our own gang crew, you know?
Yeah, I can see how close-knit family was.
Mm-hmm.
And I think also for a lot of immigrants, right, that family was everything, because family was your support system.
It was. And there's a reminder of where you came from, you know? Especially if you're coming from places like West Indies in Africa. Seeing that person next to you who looks like you, sounds like you, feels like you, understands intimately and without a shadow of a doubt what that look means, without having to explain it to anybody, is a whole other, you know, it's invaluable, especially in the 80s, in the 70s and the 60s, you know, reestablishing yourself in another country.
Yes, yes. All right, so what about your parents? Because their story is like a movie.
It is.
It's a full
It's Love is Rock.
It's Love is
It's Love is Rock.
Yeah, it is.
The short version. They met. My mom was on a double date, kind of like chaperoning my auntie's date at the house.
Okay.
And so my uncle had brought his brother, which happens to be my dad. And my mom and him kind of looked at each other like, oh, hello. And got together. Pretty much my mom was like, yeah, we met in April. Then you came along. I said, oh, first date.
Oh, really? So wait.
Terrible. It's terrible parents.
Are you serious?
They were like immediate, like essentially immediately. I don't know first date, but immediately. They broke up. Family members didn't approve of them being together in some capacity. It was stuff with that.
All right.
Yeah.
Can I ask on this? Because from what I understand is it was your grandmother, the matriarch, who said,
it's enough,
this is enough between you two.
Yeah. This is the thing that no one really talks about, which is a wild thing. There was togetherness, but there was certain angst and certain annoyances with the African community and the West Indian community. And it was like these West Indians, these Africans, and it was a lot going on that was opposing them being together, per se. So my grandma was just like, it's enough. You know, like, you can't come here no more. This is enough. Like, it was a lot happening between them. And it had nothing to do with them, more to do with everybody around them and their chat.
Their chat. And because your father's from Grenada.
Yeah. 20 years later, they get back together. It was, I met my dad randomly, like I was kind of thrust into the scenario when I was 17. And I was just like, I didn't ask for this. I don't know what this is. And what I love about my dad, and me and him are gang now. But what I love about my dad is he's very he wasn't forceful. He didn't be like, well, he wasn't that guy. Respect me, he was never that guy. He's always very much like, when did you come? When are you ready? You know?
You could look at it as it's poetic, it's romantic, but it's also tragic.
Crazy.
Because you think that, so how old were you when your father and mother were really separated? And they were forced to be?
3.
So you're 3.
Yeah. And I remember him talking to me against the door in our grandma's house. And I remember just looking, I can see it in my mind's eye now. Like, he was just telling me he loves me and all of this stuff. And then I don't think I see him after that. And then the next time I see him, I was like at school. And he'd come to the school gates to say hi. And I was like, oh, it's that, like, you know.
So the last time you saw your father, he's waving at you
Yeah.
just to say hello.
Say hi.
I'm here.
Yeah.
And then you don't see him for over 10 years.
Yeah.
All right. When you look back, how do you believe that separation impacted you as a little girl?
The choices I made, the men I dated, the rejection, the way I dealt with my friends, the way I dealt with my family, it was very much like, well, I'll just leave. I'll just be gone. Everything was just like, all right, I'm good. No explanations. I didn't owe anybody any explanations, and no one owed me any. It's fine, just be gone. And I was comfortable dealing with people like that. Man, it all ground to a halt at 37.
Wow.
Like my voice and everything started failing me. I want to say my body was just like, you have things to work out of your system, and this is not going to continue for the next phase of your life.
So you continued that, I'm out, I'm done, very abrupt exits all the way through most of your adult life. And you feel like that stemmed from those early on.
Absolutely.
But you felt love. Like you knew what love was. You knew what support and trust was through the family. But then what was school like for you early on in being here?
It was a crew. Like, that's how I figured out how to sing, is with them. You know, we thought we were Jodeci, we thought we were SWV, we thought we were Mel and Kim early days, we thought we were any version of an R&B, anything, or soul or reggae. That's who we were. Like, we would go to school and be the ones in school like, come on, let's do the dance. Wherever, like, that was us, right? So when Pepper was me and my cousin, Patient, like, we all were raised as sisters and brothers because we were all pretty much at my nan's house for a period. So my cousins were my sisters, you know, they're my brothers. They're not like people's technical cousins. Oh, they live over there, like that. That's how I learned how to sing. That's how I learned how to manage group. This is how I learned how to manage myself around people. This is how I learned how to be choir direct, like early days choir director, per se. Like, I knew
It
all
all
the
came from
parts.
that.
It all came from that unit.
But it sounds like it wasn't necessarily you're thinking this is a profession. It was just fun.
It was fun. And that's been the core thing up and down. Like, as long as it's fun, that's it.
All right. I love it. I love it. Now, school for you, though, because I would imagine, being in London at that time, was it a positive experience for you?
It wasn't terrible for me.
Okay.
Like, honestly, it wasn't. I would say I was liked a lot, like I was well liked, I don't know how to say that.
Who doesn't want to like you?
But like,
Come on now.
Sure, shit. I don't take it for granted. When it came to secondary school, we all moved. It was a different space area, whatever. Now you're getting to see people from different areas and who weren't raised like you, who don't have the same baselines as you have. And you still have to be in the world and represent the family. Like, who's smoking? I feel like I smoked for 3 seconds and was like, because my mom would always threaten us, if you smoke, look, I'm going to put you in the cupboard with a pack of cigarettes and make you smoke it.
Wow.
We never wanted that experience.
No.
But that was a threat looming in our heads. If she catches me with smoke, cigarettes, she's going to put me in the cupboard and make me smoke a pack of cigarettes. And I love it because you got to think, like, 9 kids, you got to figure a way to, like, keep them in order. So that was a good enough threat. Look, she had a moment about me smoking weed and then was like, so where do we at now? Now we talk. But it was like my cousin P and me, we were like the group, the singers, they know what they're doing.
Okay.
So we always had different groups, like what me and these girls are gonna be SWV, and I could do a 4-part harmony myself. So I'm gonna just pick you, and you, and we're gonna be Jodeci this week. And we're gonna be, it was all of that, right? That my favorite class was music.
It was music.
It was music. Well, music and English.
Okay.
Yeah, English because I like to read. Like I will take my shoes and my books with me everywhere I go. Like I love to read. Like, it's a thing. I would go to sleep with books under my pillow, and my mom would be like, "Yeah, you have a crook neck because you slept on a pile. Like, so what are you doing? Stop it."
Oh, but wow.
Of books. Yeah, it was a real thing.
Wow.
I would get books every year for Christmas and be the happiest child alive. Like, not, I don't want a doll. I don't care. Give me books. Give me the anthology of Sweet Valley High. Give me The Hobbit. Give me all of that. I was into it.
You were into it.
Yeah. That's
See, and this is at what age?
Oh goodness.
This is
my whole life.
Yeah, but early teens we're talking about, because you
We're
were
talking like I was
senior school, was it?
10, 11.
10, 11? Okay.
Yeah, 10, 11 up.
So think about that.
Yeah.
10, 11,
Mhm.
like, says almost no 10, 11-year-old that they want books
None.
for Christmas.
Just
But
me.
but I think that's beautiful, right? Are you beginning to think professionally what you want to do? And is it music or no?
No. It wasn't professional, like, oh, this is, how will I say this? I don't think it was this is what I'm gonna do for a living. And the thing that kept becoming the recurring factor, the recurring theme in my head and in my spirit and in my life was, whenever you're singing, whether you're in your room, whether you're on stage, whether you're washing dishes, you are in another world. You know? It's not even escape. It wasn't escapism, even though it was just like you were just euphoric. Like you feel joy on a different level. So I kept doing it. I just kept trying to look for that joy, that feeling, that euphoric, that pointer, that
Sure.
Was it that white rabbit?
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
I was just like, this is the thing that I like to do. I really like doing this. And I do it pretty okay. You know? Like,
But how did you know you were doing it okay? Like, how did you know? Were people telling you have a great voice, or?
well, it started with rapping.
Okay.
That was the thing that people were like, oh no, I know you. It was just a given that I could sing to my family, not to me, to them. They were like, yeah, all right. And my cousin would always be like, your voice is so husky. And I wish, and I was like, but you sound like you sound like Coco from SWV. I couldn't do all of those, like, and I was always like the bass note or the Mary J of it.
Okay.
It was just always that. I never really thought of that being the voice thing, or that my voice was the thing. So I started rapping. I always did the raps too, because I was just good at it. And so when I started going at it for real, after like several talent shows and we were trying to do it, and my cousins decided not to do it. My little sisters was like, turn up, have fun. I don't want to do this no more. Right? To a degree. They were like, this is boring. This is everyone just kind of dissipated. I said, well, I'm gonna do it solo then. And I would start hanging out at different ciphers and see all people, people rapping. I started working at a record store called Deal, and this one guy was like, you rap a little bit, don't you? And I was just like, along to the songs, and he was like, you should write your own. You should do them. I was like, nah, try. Like, I'm sure you could do it. Like, I feel like you can. His name was Fallacy. And I went home and I wrote a rap. And the next time I seen him, I was like, look, listen to my rap. It's like 18, 17, something like 18, 19. He was like, see, like, you're good. Keep writing, keep doing it. And then it was just off to the races. I was like,
You just writing
raps.
Writing raps. But at that time in the UK, so you're 18, 19, are there any other rappers, especially who are women, doing their thing?
Yeah, it was.
Who was it?
There was on the scene. It was Tempa, Wildflower, Simone, and me.
All right, so there's a crew of y'all who are rapping, right? But are you thinking this is a career? This is a profession?
I thought I was gonna be a singer.
I
was like, all roads lead to being singing, just singing. I didn't think rapping was a thing. So after Fallacy tells me to rap, like just rap these raps, I would go in all the open mics and I would recite these raps that I had written. I wouldn't even try and freestyle. I was like, I'm a great memory. This is what we're gonna do. And if I freestyle, it was for 8 bars. And I was like, then we go to the pre-writtens, please, because absolutely not. I am not Eminem. This is not what's happening. I am not Big L. Nope. Well, I'm clear about my limitations. And so it was, but people would stand out. People would come and be like, yo, you stand out. You, like, this isn't normal. I don't know any women that do what you do. I was like, yes, there's so-and-so, yeah, that they do them, but you are different. Like, you're not forcing it and you sing.
Okay.
I was just like, you might be right. And so I was just like, I would go into studios. I would record any chance, any moment, any second I got to get in a studio with anybody and write, anybody and rap. I was in there. I would make the opportunities. I would talk to producers. They all came through the record store. I would go to the events. They were all there. And like I said, I don't have a personality that's harsh or hard to, to deal with. I didn't think so at the time either. Okay. Some people might, I don't know. I don't care. I go along with most people.
Okay.
So I feel like I had great relationships, I want to say. And people were very open to being like, yeah, come on, let's try some things.
So you're still 19
Yeah.
at this time.
Yeah.
You're showing up talent shows. You are developing your skill.
Yeah.
What also seems like what's happening is that you're getting a lot of validation.
Yeah.
You're getting people who you respect saying you're special.
Yeah.
Right. So you believe this,
Yeah.
that you were special. All right. Because now I know you, like, you're very confident.
Yeah.
You're very confident. But it seems like the confidence was really seated with your grandmother, your mother, your family, but it's really growing at this point.
Yeah.
So what would you say is the break that you get in your music career, the first real break?
That's tough. Because it was a series, like,
Okay.
like it went like that.
Okay. What's the first?
The first was I put my own record out, just because.
All right.
I had some CDs pressed up and I got some vinyl pressed up. That was like a big accomplishment. Paid for it and everything. It was crazy.
And that's in the UK.
It's in the UK.
And because you pressed it yourself,
Pressed
like, you're handing it out, or you're selling it?
Handing it, selling it, doing everything I could.
Everything. Okay.
Not making anything. Going super in the red. Not thinking about it in those terms. Just like, whatever. We're just going. Performing it everywhere I could.
Okay.
Any stage I could get to. And that's where I learned how to perform. That's where I learned how to, like, it doesn't matter the crowd. This is going to be good. I'm having a fun time. I'm still on the open mic circuit. I'm still doing shows popping up for people's things. Lyrical Lounge with Pogo and Ty, God rest his soul. I'll go up to Ty and I was like, you see me out here? Like, he's like, you still got to earn some stripes though. And I was just like, earn some stripes. All right, you see me. All right, I'll earn the stripes. So he has me come up at one event he was doing elsewhere and freestyle and do my show. And after that show, he was like, all right, you did it. Come on to the next. We're going to put you on the flyer and we come do the next Lyrical Lounge. I was like, Lord.
Wow, that's big on the flyer, too.
Big. I'm on the flyer for Lyrical Lounge at Jazz Cafe.
Yes. At
the Jazz Cafe. Like one of the main places you want to perform in the UK at that time. So I got to do Lyrical Lounge and I think I did my best show. I think I did my best. I was very happy with it. And he was like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, like sometimes people are going to put you through the paces and you did it with grace. You weren't, even though however you felt, you weren't can I curse a bit? Okay.
Yes.
You weren't a dick about the whole, like, prove something.
Right.
You went and did the work. And I was like, yeah, because I want to do this. So I'm going to do the work, So it wasn't a thought to me. It was just like, get it done. So from that point, Black Twang called. And I realized now that it was like they had to kind of, all of them had to speak and agree that I was the artist that Black Twang should work with.
Okay.
They were all friends too. And I wasn't thinking at the time. I was just like, well, if, I wasn't expecting a call from Black Twang to be like, be on my record or nothing. He just called me. He's like, I seen you at Lyrical Lounge and, Ty and them say you're really good and you're an artist and you working. I'm working on my new album. You want to feature on this record? Like, you young, you hot. And I was just like, I'll be there with bells on. What time? How would you like for me to appear at the studio? Yes,
So this is your first this is your first feature?
Well, my second.
Your second feature.
Right before that, after Lyrical Lounge, I get a call from DJ Skits.
Okay.
I think about it, I forgot that. I got DJ Skits calls and he's like, I'm working on an album. Come down and put a verse on it. And I'm working. I remember maybe the day before I was working at, he calls me the day before. I was like, I'm at work tomorrow. I work at Marks & Spencer's. Because we have to make money.
Yes. Yes.
Childish.
So that's the full-time Marks & Spencer's.
That's my part-time-ish. This is how I get money. Because my mom was like, what are we doing? You still live in the house? What's happening? Mm-hmm. You're young. Get something together. And I left work. I remember running down in my work clothes. I had this gray jacket, gray puffer jacket, like little middle belt. I had my scarf on. Everybody else would put their raps down and I come in and it was a thing to get the last verse on a record. Like that means you the best one.
Yes.
I was like, oh, shit, I better be good. I better be good. In my head, I was just like, oh, I hope this is good. And so I came in, I remember I was like, now it's the model health herbalist, humanist. I hit you up with lyrics that be too hot. Some herbalist, ladies first. This. What you saying? You ain't know about me? You ain't heard? I was just going. Like, I always felt like I was
in your Marks and Spencer.
In my Marks and Spencer's outfit. Like, and they were just like, I remember the reaction being like, jeez.
Okay.
Well, damn. You know? I was like, is it good? Like, you straight? They were like, yeah. I was like, okay, well, I'll just go now. And then I went home. They're in North London. I live in West London. I got on a bus, took myself home. Then they were like, come shoot the video. And I was like, okay. Found my outfit. They was me and my sisters and my cousins, and we was in the video. They were always around me. Like, they would always show up for things for me. And after that, between Black Twang and Skits, they both kind of came out within a year of each other. It just went ballistic.
Okay, and what year is this?
2001,
2001, 2002. So they come out, you're featured on both. And that just, how does that uplift you? There's more buzz about
There's way
who
more
you are.
buzz. A publicist comes, her name's Angela. She's like, I see what you're doing, I want to help. And she's like, we'll just work for credit. Like, don't worry about paying me. I'm building my chops too. I was just like, okay, thank you.
Yeah. So this is the first professional that comes on your team, in essence. So it's just you and the publicist.
Me? No, I have a manager.
Okay.
He was in and out. He was doing his best, and like halfway through it, he kind of quit. He was like, it's a lot. But she stuck around. And then I moved to another manager, and he was good too, but his angle was he was a distributor. So that helped with, like, when we're still pressing up records and whatnot further down the line. So she comes in and she's getting me these magazines and these covers, and she did a lot of work for a lot of years, And she did get a job with a big agency because of it, so it worked out. I was very happy about that. But between then and then, we pressed more records. We did more mixtapes. I sold those mixtapes. I was still at the record store for a while, and then I left because it got hectic. I was like, I can't come back here every Saturday because I'm literally in Germany or France or doing shows.
Oh, wow. So you're doing shows all throughout Europe now?
All over the world.
Okay, all over the world?
All over the world except for America.
Okay. Interesting.
Except for America. All right, because you guys did not recognize
America.
You guys did not recognize British hip hop at all, and it was a struggle. That was part of the early struggle. It was like, you people.
Can we spend just 1 second on that? Because I feel like so at this time, I was living in the States. I was in New York, and hip hop was New York. R&B was kind of New York. Atlanta was especially with Jermaine Dupri, So Def, like that whole situation. Obviously California, right? But I don't ever remember an R&B or hip hop artist from the UK ever being talked about in the UK. What do you think that was? Was it just that we were just too big on ego, or what?
No, it was just the dominant space of music. I don't know that it was ego, because whenever they would come and they would have to come and do promo here, it was a lot of love. When I went, it was a lot of like, yo, there's Loose Ends, there's Soul to Soul, and they would start counting down all that, so they knew we existed.
Okay.
And I was like, well, there's also Damage, Misha Paris, and I would start running off all Beverly Knight, Hood Soul, David, like David Linden Hall. Like, I would start running off all the names. Craig David, there's all these people too. You should check out. And I've been that person. That's partly why I have my show. I also met a lot of artists at the beginning of their career, rap artists, like Mos Def, like Slum Village.
Oh wow, who came through?
Who came through the shop, Deal Real. I met them at the beginning of their careers, or like at least maybe a year or two in.
Oh wow, okay.
So there was always that personal commonality. Whenever later on when I see them out, I'm just like, yeah, we know each other.
Yeah,
we've been out here.
How many
they know us?
Black women from the States, whether they be in hip hop or R&B, were coming through the UK at that time?
Oh my goodness. Rod Digger, Jill Scott,
yes,
Music Soul Child. It was only the big groups, like the Destiny's Childs, the like A. Marie's and those people that came over in that era. They wouldn't send the R&B girls to the UK like that, which was odd to me. Like, there was never really a whole come and touch the people like there is now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, too, in the UK, then and even now, is such a huge music market. Like in the research I was seeing, it blew me away. The US is the biggest market. Japan is the second biggest.
Crazy.
And then the UK is the third,
Yeah.
right, in terms of domestic markets around music. So UK, huge market.
Yeah.
Lots of genres popping off in the UK, incredible artists popping off in the UK. But when I look back and when I read and research, it feels like Black women
Yeah.
in music, there has been the lowest of low ceilings placed. And we've had Jamelia on, when I look at careers like Miss Dynamite's career, and I think, one is this just me saying this, or do you believe that there was a very low ceiling placed on Black women in music in the UK?
They just didn't expect us to do shit. And that's the frustration of it all, because we have very high expectations, and why not? The worthiness of my dreams is not based on anybody else's version of events, you know? So when I'm shooting for the stars, I'm gonna go get that, get out the way was always my thought. If you're not the one, get out of my way. Let me go find the person, let me go find the thing, or let me go get to the thing myself. But there was a lot of very much in your face, like, why are you even bothering? I have people who, and Black people who would actively say she's a waste of money, and then be at the shows clapping for me at the Mobos, to my face, two people around me. And I was just like, why are you go away, go sit down somewhere with your waste of time. So like, it was a lot of like, you're not as good as, you're never going to be as good as. And I saw it being leveled at the Black women who were trying things. And I think I came in via hip hop. So I managed to dodge some of it.
Interesting.
But even when I got there, it was still a good amount of people like, why are you bothering? What's your plan here? Like, you've done it with the 18th day. Now go sit down and go find something to do. And I was just like, well, I ain't start with you, so I'm for sure not listening to a thing you have to say.
Yeah, but why was it so? I mean, I could come up with probably 50 different reasons, but you were in it. Like, why was it so? Why were people saying you're a waste of money? Why?
I can't call it. I feel like it's self-hate to a degree. And I don't know what anybody else has been through. And I don't like to call people's experiences shit, but I don't know. I just feel like it's very weird to discourage somebody from dreaming. It's very weird to do everything you can do to try and knock down their version of greatness. It's a very weird approach to have in life. But there are a lot of people who do it, I think, and also I think they do it to be seen as like cool and in the boys club, or in the crew of people who are, wherever they want to be, in whatever department that they rep, or whatever label they rep, or whatever company they rep. And it's just wildly it's hate. It's just being a hater, essentially. I can't call why. I think there's just like a ceiling of like, you've done enough. Right, energy of like, that's okay, but don't go too much.
Yes.
That
Yes.
I can't remember her name, but she did that poem on the Beyonce album, and she was like, they teach you to just do enough. Like, don't be too much. Like, it's okay. Like, it's okay.
Just stay at that level.
Stay at that level.
Yeah.
And I was always, I believed and lived this exact poem my whole life. Like, why? Like, why do I have to stay at your level? Who dictated that? Like, what's that got to do with me?
Right.
That's your business.
Is this one of the reasons why, or should I say a main reason why,
I left.
why you left?
For sure. I saw, well, the main fundamental reason was I was signed to the US. I was signed in the US.
Okay.
After I asked the UK company to let me go. Because I believe in myself. I signed to Atlantic US, and I didn't think anything of it more than I was like, well, I guess I'm going to have to be out there now, When I was with my label in the UK, it was a lot of support and equally a lot of like, okay, well, she's done it. We gave it the shot. I think part of why they signed me was like just staying cool and on the cusp. It's a business, I get it. You want to sign the hottest thing on the street. And at that time, it was like, yeah, she's the name. And even as much as I was the name, it was like, I would go to the labels and they were like, we don't get it. And then I'd see demo for any other British female anything. And I'd be like, that sound like my record. And they pop, they blow, and they big in the charts. And I'm like, I know I have something. So the opportunity came for me to learn the business. And I realized the route I took was so that I could have a clear blueprint for my own career.
Okay.
Being independent, knowing how to do it by myself, knowing how to like do everything from press up vinyl to organize an interview, knowing how to go and get it played at radio, watching and seeing all of the things. Couldn't have happened if I'd have just signed straight to a label.
Okay.
And just,
Okay.
I had to go through all of that because I'm doing it now. You know, with my new album, I've been doing it for the past 12 years by myself. With my team.
Yeah. But you're leading it.
I'm leading it, yeah. But I could never have the confidence to do that if I hadn't did it back then, because they kept saying no. And then when they finally said yes, and we had success, they still said no.
Right.
I was just like, I'm sick of the no.
You know, but
Like,
but so early on, that deal, the first deal that you got in the U.S., that's on a
major.
major.
A major, yeah.
All right. So one thing that we have to say though, because I think a lot of folks don't know the Roscoe's Chicken story, and this is near and this is near and dear to my heart because Roscoe's, whenever I land in L.A.
Yeah.
That's the first stop.
You get off the plane and everyone's like, go to Roscoe's Chicken. It's the closest to Morley's.
Yes.
It's the closest to Nando's, Roscoe's, right, at the time. And so we were staying up the street, me and my homegirl. It was Kanye's mixtape that he had out. After this very first time he put out a mixtape, and it was just like, it was just like him, John, GLC, Consequence, like all of that.
Chicago. Yep.
New York, like it was that. And it was like one of my favorite mixtapes. When I tell you, I used to just rock that 24/7. I was in my like, this is it. And I would listen to that ad nauseum at the house. Whenever I was walking down the street, I was like, this guy's voice, I feel something with it. I just don't know. I just feel like we're gonna do something good. If I could just find him. Like my boyfriend at the time was like, you smile so much. Do you know this guy? He's like, I love to see you smile, but like, do you know this guy? And I was like, I don't, but look, it's the music.
His voice makes me just feel good.
It's just a thing with his voice. I feel it somewhere, like we're connected somehow. I don't know. It just feels like church and it feels like home. And I just, that was a real thought. And like, I'm walking down the road. So I have my little Gucci slides on and my little short skirt from Marc Echo. It was just wild fashion. It was wild fashion. Don't laugh. And I go to Roscoe's and I've got my headphones in, and I'm like, look up, look to the right. It's Kanye.
Just in Roscoe's, just
big chilling, eating food, and I know my eyes widen, so I just gather myself. I was like, I want a Carol C special. I'll just be there. She's like, yeah, okay, in 15 minutes I'll come get you. I was like, okay. I go outside and I do a prayer.
Did you?
Yep. I was like, dear God, if you are there right now, please, I need him to come outside so I can say something to him in Jesus' name. I just need to tell him I need to work with John. That's all I need. And please, if you are real, I need you to make it happen in Jesus' name. Thank you. Amen. Then I go back to listening to the record, and then Kanye walked right outside, and I said, oh, thank you, Jesus. Hi. Hello. I'm Estelle, people I know, because he had just been to London. I heard the conversations. He'd just been to London. He was working with So Solid and, just making buzz.
Okay.
Being in studio with different producers. And I had just done a record recorded free with Mega Man. So it was waiting to come out. It was all in. I was like, I just worked with someone that Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, John Legend, where is he? And he looks at me like I got two heads. He's like, you know him? And I was like, yeah. I don't. But like, I know his voice. He's really good. Oh, we want to do a record with him. He's like, all right, well, take my number, come to the studio. And my thing is, I think the confidence that I have been around different rappers and artists, it's not a thought to me, you know? And so I go to the studio and I'm sitting talking to John because I'm a nerd. Like, I read books and I'm definitely the computer girl. Like, ooh, the newest Mac is out.
So this is your first time meeting John Legend?
First time. Didn't know it was him.
But sorry, if his voice makes you smile.
But here's the thing. He doesn't speak like he sings. Have you heard him speak and sing? Like,
I've heard. I mean, I've heard him like in an interview. Yeah.
Well, he was very soft spoken at the time, and he doesn't sound like oh when he speaks. He's very like and he's calm. Then he goes into the studio to sing, and Kanye's on the roller, going up and down Record Factory, and I'm like, did we just come out here to get cookies? Where is John? Like what? All right, I'm just listening to him talk, and he's like, "What? You just met? You was just talking to him?" I was like, yeah. Bro. So I felt like I blow my chance to ask him in that. I was like, oh, damn it. Like, so I was like, so let's go back in. So we go back in and he's in the studio and we're listening to the record that he's cutting. And Kanye's like, yo, you missing this note. And he couldn't figure out what the note was. So I sang the note for them. And John was like, I did that note. And I was like, it's there. And I know what I'm doing in the studio. So I was like, it's probably turned down. It's this note, right? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, it's probably turned down. It looks like that one's, and the guy had muted it.
Okay.
And they look at me like I got 3 heads because why are you telling us what to do? Who the fuck are you? What the hell is happening? I'm just like, I know what I know, okay? And I'm not afraid to like say it. So let that sit. And he's like, he comes down. I was like, yeah, I didn't realize hi, I'm Estelle, by the way, and I have this record I really want you to sing. And I'm like, all right, so play it. So I played it to them. I came prepared. I had pre-recorded a version of Hey Girl.
Okay.
And I had did his vocal. That how I wanted him to sing it. Because again, I'm studying, I'm listening. I'm like, he's going to be so great on this record. And he heard it. And they were like, all right, let's leave it with us. Like, but we fuck with you. You cool. Like, I was like, all right, thank you. Bye. Left. I got my business. Go home. We stay in touch on email, and he hits me. He's like, yeah, Kanye said I can do it. Like, it's no beef on that. Like, it's no issues. The label will do their thing. But he likes, he liked the record. He said, do it if I want to. And I was like, well, do you want to? And he's like, yeah. I was like, cool. I said, well, when you back in London? When you come to London? He said, well, I'll be over there because we're finished my album. We're signed, da-da-da-da-da. He comes over. We go studio. He knocks it out. We all eat Chinese food. And then everything...
That's how the relationship goes.
That's how it goes, yeah. And we stayed in touch because it was music. I think his thing was always like, your melodies are second to none. He has me come out on every single tour date, show date. He's always like, where you come be a part of what we got when we're here. And I don't know if the label saw this or cared, but the A&R at the end of the project, when I'm getting ready to start the new record, I was like, well, John wants to help me co-exec produce this album. I asked John to do it. He says, absolutely, I'll do it with you. I told him John wants to do it with me, and they asked me who he is, and I want to punch a wall. Yeah. It's like, let me go, please.
Because this is before Get Left. This is before though.
No, this John Legend at this point has gone platinum.
Oh, what?
Okay, he's on every magazine cover you could think of. He is the John Legend.
And they're still asking you, who is he?
Who?
Yeah.
And I said, let me go. I was like, let me go now. Let me go from the label. I don't care. Because you're not on the same page.
But it sounds like they're really saying, they know, they're aware of him. Mm-hmm. They're just saying,
we don't care.
We don't care.
We don't care. Who do you think you are? Who do you think he is?
Yeah.
And that's the energy that I felt,
And you saw it as a whole system that you didn't want to engage with. So that's really, that inspired you to go to the U.S.
Yep. Well, it inspired me to tell John, I might be leaving the label. And he said to me, I'll sign you.
Oh, wow.
I was like, you sure? I work. I'm not one of these, I'm not one of these Saturdays. Like, I go to work. And he was like, yeah, come on.
Yeah, sign. Were you the first person that John Legend signed?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
He literally started a label to sign me he believed in me that much. Wow. He got it. He was like, I see you working and I know I'm just along for the ride, but I'll help you. Okay. I was like, thank you.
That's incredible.
It's a lot of love. Yeah.
Because I see that you've been receiving that though throughout all those, the growth of your career is the validation and people immediately seeing the talent, but behind the talent, they saw the passion. And that's probably really what connected John Legend to your work.
I believe it.
I hope you won't mind that we're taking a quick break from this conversation to talk about my show sponsor, Shopify. So many of you who listen to this show every week also run your own small businesses or side hustles. And we all know that these days, having a business without a website is almost impossible. But Getting an online store up and running isn't always an easy or quick task. Unless you're using Shopify, the all-in-one commerce platform to help you start, run, and grow your business. Shopify simplifies everything so you can sell online and through your social media channels. And all of their templates are customizable, so you can explore thousands of different designs to find the one that best represents your brand. You can even leverage their tools without having to learn new skills in design or coding. If you've been looking for a solution, Shopify is the answer. Visit shopify.co.uk/need-to-talk to enjoy a £1 per month trial period. That's shopify.co.uk/need-to-talk. No matter how much you plan, sometimes a date just doesn't go the way you imagined. Maybe you picked the worst seats at a gig, ones that are so bad you can't even see the stage. Or you thought that live drawing class would be fun until you realized the model was a very nude, very old man. Yeah, awkward. But you know, dates don't have to be perfect to be great. Because if you're with the right person, even the hiccups become part of the story you'll both laugh about later. And that's what Tinder is all about, and a sponsor of this podcast. You might think it's just for hookups, but in fact, on Tinder, a relationship starts every 3 seconds. So forget about planning the perfect date and just pick the right person to go on it with. It starts with a swipe. Download Tinder today. So then, at what point do you write the iconic that what is it?
10 years later, no, I'm joking.
No, but you wanted this though.
Yeah,
You wanted a song
Yeah.
that you could sing to the end of time.
Prayers.
Any country in the world,
Anywhere.
any city in the
I
world.
have a few of them, thank God. Seriously. Come on now. Won't
Yes.
he do it? Won't he do it? Yeah.
When do you write?
I wrote that in 2006.
Okay, so you're in the States.
Yes.
You're signed to John Legend.
And Atlantic. And he's like, come to Miami. I got sessions with will.i.am. I got some shows out there. Come on. Cool. Well, they set up a session with will.i.am for me to be there too. And he plays... He plays the bass of it. Not the intro, just the like the bass line of it. And he's playing that whole thing and he starts running the track. And I was like, run that back. What is that?
Okay.
He's like, I don't think. I said, no. And I said, if this isn't a hit, you're going to make your money back because I'm going to Ibiza with it and I'm going to make you your money back. I'm going to go take this record. We're going to release it in Ibiza. I had a whole independent plan for it. I was like, it's going to be good. I'm going to perform it. It's gonna,
Just Ibiza.
We're going to make
That's
it
it.
just in Ibiza. I and Apple will love this, okay? Because I know this.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like garage. It felt like that vibe. Just like, what have you been doing out here? And I'm like, I've been on the beach. Because while you've been recording, I've been enjoying myself.
Yes.
Okay, I've been having a time. These guys loves me. These men love me, and I've been loving the men. It's been glorious. And he's looking at me like, such a child. I'm just like, absolutely. Like, I'm gonna have a good time. He's like, well, come on, let's write the record. And he puts in. This time he did the melody. He's like, like da 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 da, and I'm like, yeah. And I was like, da, da, da. Like, we back and forth on the different things. And then we filled in the words. One of his friends actually came up with he was like, don't like his baggy jeans, but I might like what's underneath them. One of his friends said that, and I was just like, okay. Who are you, young sir? Like, what is this? Anyhow, I vocal a demo vocal with everyone in the room. And we're like, this feels special. Because it felt fun. It was genuinely, we were just in there like, talking shit.
Yeah, just having a good time.
Having a good time. And then John leaves, I stay in Miami a couple of days and I revocal it. It took me all of 15 minutes.
Wow.
I did it with the biggest smile on my face. I was just having all the joy. I was just like, but he gave me notes on it. It was like, when you sing it, like, be bright. Like, I was just like, oh, that's easy.
Yes.
I can channel Holly from Heidi High, like all the British comedies and all the fun ditzy, blah, la, la, la. I was like, that was my channeling. And then we would have all these conversations about the Motown artists and what made them great. And that was our other thing, was music. And one of the things about the Supremes that no one really knows is like Diana Ross was put in the front. This is, so the story goes, Diana Ross, I'm sure, will say something different, but she's put in front because her voice was light. It wasn't so gospely. It wasn't so black, right?
Mm.
And so the idea was like, well, just do a lighter version of the record. Sing it lighter, like don't.
Oh, that was John's note to you.
Yeah, he was like, sing it light. He said, remember the Diana Ross? Like, and that was the conversation we were having. I was just like, yeah, let me try. So when I sang it, I was like, I was in my Supremes. I was in there like, take me on a trip, I'd like to go someday. I was really doing Diana, like, in my head.
Oh, wow.
And I was giving Polly in the like, I really want to get you, like going.
Yes. Now I see it.
Yeah,
I see it now.
Exactly. Think about how she would do like, can't hurry, love, like, and you just have to, the shoulders and the the décolletage, and like the whole, like, that was everything I was given. And so all of that intention went into that record.
Wow.
And it was just fun. It was the whole point. It was like, I kept saying in the booth, I remember going like, this is going to be fun. People going to have fun to this. It's going to be so joyful, like, this is it. And that's it. It took us, like I said, 15, 20 minutes to hit, and I left it and went home.
That's the only point that almost feels disappointing to me too.
Look, but it takes you 10 to 20 years to get to 15 minutes. Okay? It takes me 10 to 20 years of studying, of practice in the house, of singing every minute I got, annoying every single person around me, annoying myself.
Yes.
Like stretching my vocal, like training myself to sing octaves that were not natural to me. Bronchitis, laryngitis, traveling, body folded over, unfurling my body, getting in the studio, singing, figuring out to be 15 minutes and perfect.
Yeah, it's incredible. In the research, you know this better than me. It was number 9 on the Billboard Hot 100.
Yeah.
Obviously won a Grammy Award, Best Rap Song Collaboration, 4 times platinum in the UK, exceeding 2.4 million copies in the UK alone, 5 times platinum in the United States. Just like,
Good time. It's a good time.
Yeah.
It's a good time. It just felt like it was buoyed by such good energy and goodwill too. Yeah.
And it lives forever.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's so profound to me about American Boy in particular is that, so I have a 14-year-old and 11-year-old, right? They know that song.
Yes. That's the plan.
They know it. A matter of fact, I got the most number of cool points with them ever.
Wow.
Because I was like, I've got Estelle coming on the pod. They said, you've got Estelle. I was like, I know Estelle. Like, we go back like 10 plus years. They were like, Dad, why did you tell me you know Estelle?
Because here's the thing, my sisters feel the same about you, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they come to your talks. They're like, they had a whole, I was like, yeah. They showed me pictures at one of your talks. They were like, we was at the panel. I was just like, all right, did you get close? Tell them I said hi.
Yeah, I know. I was like, but isn't this, it's wild.
Yeah.
It's wild. But the song, though, is, by the way, tell your sisters I said hello.
I will.
Yeah.
They're going to see this. Yeah.
But the song, the fact that it is so profound to them, that means that it's you got this through time.
And look, the Kathy Sledge, who I grew up looking at on a wall with my parents, was on FaceTime with me in the Panini. First of all, I call it the Panini, the pandemic. She was like, come on my show. And I was like, when would you like me there? And with bells, I'll be there, And we get on Instagram Live and she's like, that's a forever record. I was like, it is. Yeah. It is. Like yours.
Yeah.
Like yours. Like the many you have.
Like the many
you have. Thank you.
Will there ever be an American Boy 2.0?
No.
You didn't even give it a second.
No, who wants that?
No.
No, who wants that?
I want that.
You know what? No, all right, so let me give you this. I gave them that, and it wasn't me who wrote it. It was me entertaining the idea from the label. Playing Ball as a song called Fall in Love, which I still like. It's just beautiful, melodic song. It's really cute. And I love singing it. But they didn't want it. It was like, it was all intents and purposes. If you go look it up, it's a song called Fall in Love. It features John Legend and it features Nas. I have a record with Nas.
John Legend and Nas.
And nobody wanted that record. They didn't play it. They were like, it's not American Boy. And I was like, well, because American Boy is American Boy. Can I just do what I came here to do then?
Yes.
And then we moved along, and thank you. and then and here we are, continue,
God.
conqueror,
Oh
one love,
One Love.
freak,
Yeah, obviously, I don't think that's your only forever record.
No.
Uh,
There's a few.
Yeah,
There's a couple. Let's go. 1980,
I got a couple.
1980 will forever be one of the ones in the UK. I came out and I sang it the other day, and I barely had to sing it, and that made me feel like, thank you, man.
What would you guess my favorite is, or one of my favorites?
Come over.
I mean, how do you? Why did you know that? Because it's my favorite.
Jamaica.
Yeah. I think it's one of the best songs ever written.
Thank you.
Ever written.
Thank you.
I probably play that song once a week, every week. So when you look at your streams, most of those are me.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's one of my joints, though.
Oh my gosh, man! You all you need is that, and it lit actually Sunday is my favorite day to play that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's another intentional thing. I make records for your life. I don't want to just make it for the minute. I want you to be able to be like, I hoovered the floor playing this.
Yes.
I was in the bathtub to this. I was washing dishes to this, because this is what I do.
Mm.
And so I always want to make records that sit in that pocket for people. I never want to just be the hype, the pop, the whatever. I want to make records that you're listening to the words and you're feeling what I felt when I wrote it.
Yes.
Yeah.
What I love too is that you could listen to it with the family. Like, sometimes some music you just have to.
This is me in the car by myself. Yeah, this is outside.
This is outside music.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yours is inside and outside music.
Yeah.
And I think that's beautiful.
Thank you.
Right. But now, all right, if I'm just looking at the career, because I know we've only really dissected one song, but obviously you have multiple albums.
Yeah.
But I know that you're working on a book.
Yeah.
And the book is really how you've dealt with the music industry and really kept your sanity.
Yes.
So that is something that I see is incredibly challenging for all artists. Yeah. And some of them are not able to keep their sanity.
It's a time.
So when you think back throughout your career thus far, because you're still early in your career.
Thank you.
When you think back, what was the moment where you felt like you were on the brink of losing it?
Oh, goodness. I think maybe 2011, right before Thank You came out, and All of Me, like after Shine. I allowed myself to move in too many different directions. There were all these things that you're supposed to get, you're supposed to do, you're meant to be, you're supposed to be this by now, and you're supposed to be that by now, and this is what's supposed to be happening, and this is how this is meant to be, and why aren't you doing the thing? And it was like every millisecond of every day had one of those questions in it.
Mm.
It got manic for a while. It was a couple of like my usual responses: lock you off, switch out. I'm not doing this. You gotta go. I gotta go. I'm really gone. Peace out. Whatever you want to think of me, I don't give a damn. I'm gone. And part of it was surviving, and the other half of it was, some of you didn't deserve my presence. I have to go. This is crazy. Like the fact that I let you speak to me after the way you spoke to me.
You're talking about in the industry.
In the industry was nuts.
Can you give an example? Because for example, we had Cher Lloyd on the pod, and she was talking about, my God, she talked about how she was married, went to LA. The record label told her,
don't be married.
Told her, you could stay married, but we want you to go get with Justin Bieber. Here is where he's going to be in the club, and we don't care that you're still married, but you get with Justin Bieber. I was like, I can't believe it.
Yeah. Promo.
So I can imagine. But when you think about what's a moment where you just thought it was a ridiculous ask or a ridiculous request?
Now, there wasn't so much a ridiculous request. That I feel like the industry is like a death by 1,000 cuts. Like there was little inferences, like little digs, little moments, little pokes at what you shouldn't be doing, who you shouldn't be seeing. They'll talk to your boyfriend, and then he comes to you with some craziness. And then there's a singer, another person, another artist, and there's another producer, and then there's a people closest to you, and it got nuts. I was very open, and I still am to a degree, but with better discernment, because we grow. And that was a process in itself that I had to figure out I think everyone kept coming at the idea of keeping it real. The most valuable thing to her is she likes to act like she's regular, right? She likes to be with her people. She likes to. So it was people. It was the people around me. It was the demands on my time, on what I should be paying for this, and and the expectancy of me always being the one to take care of everything and everybody. And that's a common theme, right? And then while I've taken care of everything and everybody, in the very next room was a conversation going on about me and all of my business.
Okay.
With people that I trusted and respected, or people that I trusted.
Right.
To hold me together. And nothing was being said to defend me, Nothing was being said to be like, well, hold on, give it perspective, in the same way that I would for them. And so I found that out and I was like, it's been fun. It's been fun. You can no longer reside here. And that left me by myself and having to figure it out again with another group of people. But the point, when I realized it wasn't even about them, it was about me.
Okay.
It's about the energy that I was giving to the world and whether I felt worthy of everything that I had worked for. And why I kept just if I did feel worthy, why I just kept giving it away with no consequence, with no boundary, no anything to it.
Yeah.
Just kept just giving to people. It was wild.
But it sounds like you didn't feel worthy.
I didn't.
Okay.
And it was the 2017 break was like the final straw in that for me. It was like my body wasn't working. Everything started slowing down. I get to a show and my voice don't want to sing. Like it literally was like, ah! And I was like, this is not what I'm used to. What is happening? And I made it through the show, but then after that I was like, all right, this is enough. I go to the doctor and he's like, you stressed, but it's nothing here that should do that. And so for me, it was like, okay, I need to see a therapist. It's internal. It's got to be something else. And so it was just like understanding how to manage that, how to not just throw away, be a good steward with the blessings, instead of feeling like I was obligated to everything and everyone because of my success. It's like a double-edged sword. You've done so well and we've carried you there, so now you owe us. And I believed that, as though nothing I had done was because of myself or because of my own fortitude or because of me and God. It was just like me, God, and now I owed 50 million, 11 people who just decided that they were a part of this.
Right.
And so now,
right,
as though the paycheck wasn't enough, as though the thank you wasn't enough, as though the I'm going to refer you wasn't enough. It was like, now I need you to forever be in debt to me. And I was like, I don't have to.
Yes. So what was the big lesson from the therapist that helped you to regain
trust,
your life?
Trust myself. Like confidence is one thing, but trust is another. The decisions you make aren't from just out the sky. Like, it's here. It's your core. It's the Holy Spirit. It's the truth, And I made those decisions and I would catapult forward. And then I get forward and then I start to and ah and overthink the scenarios and call in advice because you're supposed to call in, somebody might know better than your spirit. But at the time, based on the way that at core I was raised, right? The family dynamics, based on the way I was raised socially, based on the way I came up, I'm supposed to always have a thing or a person other than myself to validate, right? I had to knock that out. With ferociousness and with niceness and with grace. I had to tell myself, it's okay. You did the right thing. Like, it's a journey.
Right.
This stuff is a journey. Every layer you peel back, there's another version of where you've done it. And you have to be like, okay, girl, it's okay. It's okay. You're safe, Really tell yourself that.
Is there anything you've done in particular to learn how to trust yourself? Because that's a position that so many of us are in.
I get still. I'm quiet. I love being by myself. Physically by myself. Yep. I used to think it was weird when I would be the person standing in the corner in the club and perfectly fine. People would be like, what are you doing? Like, why aren't you dancing? Why aren't you like up and being in the mix and being social? I'm literally just having the time of my life listening to music, listening to whatever they're playing.
With yourself?
With myself. And it was like, people had so many issues with that. It was just always the poking point. You're so quiet. You're so... Yes. And now I'm like, yes, I am. You okay? Have you ever been quiet? You should be quiet right now. Shh, stop talking. You know, like, get away from me. Go over there.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And I love it. I love because it gives me a chance to hear. It gives me a chance to be with myself, clear up and down.
I love it.
Yeah.
I think that many people have an issue with silence, and it's because of the thoughts and the ideas that wrap around in their mind.
Yeah.
And I notice that also people have a tough time being quiet with others.
Yeah.
What I love with a couple, and I've reached this point finally with Jill,
Yeah.
is being quiet together.
Yeah. It's the dopest feeling in the world.
Oh my God, you don't have to fill the space.
No, let it be.
Yes.
Guys, let me be in service to myself
Yes.
and shut the fuck up
Yes.
and pray about what's going on in your situation, or listen to a megahertz frequency, quiet your mind and go to sleep. Even if you are mindlessly scrolling, right? And I understand it's not the best thing to do, but even if I am sometimes, guaranteed 70% of the time I have my headphones on with a frequency ranging from 432 to like
Oh, look, just a
literal
frequency.
frequency.
Really,
playing.
just have a frequency play.
It's a good time. It's like the best music.
What does the frequency do?
It quiets my brain down a bit, so that I feel it in my body too. Like, it quiets my physical body down sometimes, especially when I've been moving from pillar to post. Like, if I'm having a heavy promo day, I'm talking to every version of news or whatnot. Afterwards, I'll go and I have like my Buddhist bowl.
Okay.
And I play that or hit it 3 times and just allow the sound to kind of like settle my heart. I recommend it to everybody. Like, it's on YouTube. Like, go have at them.
I take what everyone says and I try to apply it to psychology and say, how does psychology work on this, right? But it makes sense because it sounds like what you're doing is you're regulating yourself.
Self-regulation.
Right. So it's self-regulation, which is a big issue that we have. But now, one of the quick ways of regulation is co-regulation with someone else.
Yeah.
And one area that Estelle, I've never really heard you expand on, that I would love to spend a little bit of time on, because we have a little bit of time.
Let's see.
Are these relationships? These are stellar relationships. Because, can I say, you are great at keeping your relationships on the low.
Yo, I don't talk about it.
You don't talk about it?
No, but I can say some things because I think it's important. I think it's important for people to, understand me, because I put so much of relationships in the songs. I just don't talk about, I don't point names out.
Yes.
And I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair on whoever I'm dating for me to be like, and this is the face to the name of this. So everyone go have a time about that with them. No, like, that's mad. And I'll get that back. I don't want that.
I heard you say something earlier. You said that you are dating.
Yeah.
So does that mean that you are dating in
plurals or just in one?
Yes.
I am dating. That's it. That's what we got.
So
I just told you I don't talk about this stuff. Because, again, like, no.
So you're dating.
Yeah.
Actively.
Yeah.
So that means that then, is it a green light if someone listening, watching said, oh my gosh, this means that
he's like, can I match me?
I can slide.
Can I slide in the DMs?
Yeah. Is that a green light to slide in?
No, please don't slide in my DMs. I trust God to lead, but the DMs is not where I ask him to send them. I do not respond to the DMs. Please
You don't?
No.
Do you know how many
I know.
relationships?
I don't live in that world. I don't live in that world. My DMs are fun. Like, I have a lot of people that like, hey, sexy, Estelle, my belle, I can be your American guy. It's a lot. And it's always like, yo, no, I'm straight.
Straight, okay.
Okay.
You want a introduction. That's what you want.
Yeah, I'm a let me see. Cause I'll like read the energy and the person's vibe, like I do that with friends. I do that with people I meet. I don't, I'm sacred space here. Okay. I don't like to just be, everybody. No.
Yeah. No. That's what I do respect that. You have kept that. You've like, this is private and you're not going to get this.
No, this is for me.
Yeah.
I trust that.
Yeah.
I'm cool about that.
All right. In the lyrics of Thank You.
Oh.
which, by the way, you performed at my book
I
launch,
did.
which I appreciate that.
That's okay.
Way back in the day.
I had a great hairstyle. It's crazy.
Oh my gosh, the whole look was
Thank y'all.
it was excellent.
Give
It was
it a
excellent.
fever sometimes. Thank you. You know.
But I wrote down the lyrics here.
Go ahead.
These tears I cry sure won't be the last. The pain inside, which never seems to pass, it never seems to pass me by. So I thank you. Said, I thank you. Yes, I thank you for making me a woman.
And you know who wrote those lyrics? Akon. Bananas. It made no. At first, I had to get past the shock.
Are you serious?
I had to get past the shock that it was Akon, and then I was like, he has some wives. He understands. He understands women in a different way. Like he understands women.
Akon wrote this?
Akon.
Thank you for making me a woman.
Akon wrote that. He wrote that record for a female artist. The label sent it to me like, this record, you gotta sing it. And I was just like, no, I don't want to sing this record. Again, I'm very private, but it felt like that was what I was going through on repeat with every man I had dated since maybe leaving London. Before leaving London, like it was just the repeat of in different bodies, in different scenarios. There was another woman, there was another scenario, there was cheating, there was trust issues, there was resentment, there was you're doing this and I'm not doing that issues. And it was just on repeat. So I felt like that's what it was going to be. This is what happens. And I was like, I don't want to sing this record because words mean things, okay?
Yes.
Words mean things, and I gotta go sing this record. And the guy I was with at the time was literally, that was what was happening, and I wasn't really aware. Crazy because he encouraged me to sing it. Bananas. But it was more about like he felt like the label were gonna drop me if I didn't, and he didn't want to be out of a job or whatever was happening. And he used to work with me, in my band. I feel like that's whatever. Yeah. And so it was a lot. Like I didn't want to sing it. I just felt like, oh, this is admitting the truth. This is saying what's actually happening. I'm not ready for people to know me like that, because then that would make me feel weak, and that would make me feel like you out here getting cheated on just like the rest of us. You know, ego. A lot of that. I sang it, and I cried, partly because I didn't want to sing it, and partly because it fucking felt freeing to be able to say it.
Say it. Yep.
And then everything came out after the fact and we broke up. And so I had the song to go on tour and therapize with. And every time I sang it, I think I got halfway through it, I would take off all my jewelry and throw the shit down because I couldn't feel it. I felt like I was numb after singing it for a while. Oh, my band were like, oh, here she go. You got that one, you got that one. Like, that ring is over there. But the feeling, I would have to walk off stage pretty much every time after I sang it because it was overwhelming. It was just like
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah. And so I realized, okay, it's almost like every time I say it, every time you confess the truth, it comes out of you. The lie of it, you break it, it comes out of you. Like it's almost like you sweat it out. Right? And then I got to a point where I done all the therapy and done all the things and got over it. And I was like, I'm not sad about singing this record anymore. And literally in that space, I start hearing the New Orleans bounce version of it. So now I sing Thank You. And I do it to New Orleans bounce because I'll be out here shaking my butt like, what's up?
Yeah, it's a celebration now.
Exactly. It's like thank you for getting me through that, sis.
So that was one relationship that led you to have, you carried that pain with you.
It was one, like maybe I was 25.
Were you in love?
I thought I was. Back then, yeah. With that version, yeah, for sure. I was in it. Like I'm a relationship girl. Like I'm like we in it. Like, we live together. We're in it when I'm in it. Back then, and I did too much. I think about it. I did too much, and too much too early. I think it was also because of part of it was moving to the States. Like being in the States, like, and having to find family, find people to be around.
Oh, because you were alone.
Because that was just me. It wasn't like anybody else. I was like, find a rock, find an anchor. And it was when you're the anchor, wherever you are is home. Wherever I am is home.
Yes.
And that's the baseline.
Yes.
Didn't know it then.
Yes.
So
when you think back to the relationships that you've had throughout your life, do you feel like you have ever been loved?
Yes. Yeah, I have.
Okay.
I have. I wouldn't allow it with one guy, and that caused some things. We're both children, bear this in mind. It wasn't like we were like 28 and 30 and like had life experience. We were early 20s. But to him, loving me meant, okay, do your career, but now I want to have a kid. And I was like, no, that can't happen, you know?
Because of your career.
Because of the examples I'd seen. As my mom worked a lot when we were growing up, a lot. And I always put in my mind, I want to be able to afford them without having to like work as hard as she worked. And I want to put no extra on her by having baby and then being like, well, I'm gonna go do my career, here go the baby. I didn't want to do that to my mom, you know? But he was very, you know, I didn't see him as an option of a father. Like, you barely have it together. How will we raise this child? Like, you can't take care of the baby. My mom's gonna have to take care of the baby. No, you know? And so that was a breaking point, you know? And I was like, you know, but I understand his version of love at the time and what it meant. And it was, for me at that time, it was great. Until it wasn't.
Yes.
You know, so.
You know, I think that is very mature.
Now.
Very mature to say, you know, this situation is not right to bring a child into it.
Yeah.
You know, I talk about this with a lot of guests, you know, this whole idea of conscious parenting, and that begins before you have the child.
Way before.
Right. And you were there in that zone. But being a mother, is that something that you've wanted?
I have, and I do still. I'm open to it, and however it comes, whether in the next year I have a child or whether I adopt. So, and I'm so grateful to be alive in a time where you can have a surrogate. There's ways, you know. But I also think I've been a mother to so many people, so many kids, my whole life. It's, you know, I think you get it in different ways.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But for you to, you're open to it.
Yeah.
Are you open to it? But the prerequisite is you want to have a partner first.
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
I don't want to do this on my own at all. My mom is still a resource for me. My dad is still the person I call. You know what I mean? Like, so give me context.
Right. Right.
And I would like to be that with a partner. I don't want to do that by myself.
Right.
You know?
It's interesting. You talking about that, how you still rely on them. I could see now the void, you know, that was put in your life when your nan passed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I would imagine she was that too. You were calling on her.
Well, she sang me happy birthday. It was the last time we saw each other on my phone, her phone. Wow. And I tell you, I bawled for maybe half the day. It's maybe a year before she passed. I'll cry right now. But there was I just think about her entire experience. And I wanted more for her. I wanted her to have more. I wanted her to see. But this was a journey she chose. She was brave, man. She was really brave. You know, you did something. She was one of the ones, you know? And I think about that, and I think about the women that she came from, and I think about my life, and I think about the fact that I am her boldest dream. I live in a whole nother country like she did. I built community like she did. Like, my granny would go and fix curtains in people's houses when they first came over, and like lay carpet and lay floors for people that couldn't call the handyman because they weren't going to them because they was black. So my grandma knew how to do some things, and she would go and help other women build their homes. And I'm living the things that I know she saw for herself that she wasn't able to do, you know? And I just think to myself, that's a blessing. That's a wild blessing to even, you know? So I'm happy about it. I'm just like, every time I think about that, I think to myself, there's no version of me that I should ever not trust, you know? There's no version of me that needs to play small. There's no version of me that needs to entertain thoughts of mediocrity, because she ain't go through all of that for me to do this.
No, you know
that.
I get chills thinking about her, because I think when you say you are her wildest dream, it's almost like you're beyond her wildest dream.
Yeah, she would be like, how is she doing? Like, I broke my foot maybe a couple years ago, And she had Alzheimer's and dementia back when she was leaving us. And my mom had told her, and my mom was like, she asks about your foot every other week. They can't remember short term, and she asks about your foot every other week, like how's your foot doing, how's your back, how's everything working with your body. And I was like, why does she know that? Why does she remember this?
Yeah.
Like, why is this a thing? And it just is a thing in your mind. Like, don't forget who you are, where you came from, and that somebody loves you and will love you for eternity. The spirit is with you, So yeah, I'm crying again. Sorry. But it really is that. And so like, not every decision is from that, but that's part of the confirmation of trusting myself.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
It's profound.
Yeah,
That's going to stay with me.
Yeah.
You know what's going to stay with me too with what you just said is that it's with you forever.
Yeah. Yeah. She never leaves me. Like, she'll pull up on me in a second.
Yes.
I have a beautiful garden at my home, and it's part of my personal ritual and part of my thing. I pray for a gorgeous garden because I like spending time. I'm an earth sign. I like being in the trees. And when she was leaving, maybe 3 days before she really left, it was like a butterfly came and almost hit me in the head. A big one. It was like huge. I thought it was a bird, and I was like, God, what the fuck was that? Like, I freaked out. And then I got still, and I was like, she's leaving. I was like, oh, she's gonna go. I spent a few more minutes out there, and then my mom calls like 2 days later, like, she's leaving us. I was like, she already left. Like, she had body. She got out the body. Like, she already left. My mom was like, my mom was grieving and having a time. And so when she came down, when we all like came to the realization that she was gone, I go out the next day and I have a plant that my mom had got me for my birthday. And it's a white birds of paradise. And this thing has not bloomed since we bought it maybe 4 years ago. That thing had 2 white blooms on it, just overnight. 2 white blooms just popped out of the birds of paradise. I was just like, well, this just let me know that they're here with me. Like, these are 2 ancestors, like, that just popped up and say, like, hi, this is why you got that plant. That thing hadn't bloomed for 4 years. In this weekend, in this period of time, and it literally lasted for 3 days.
Yes.
And then they went. I was just like, okay, that was just her letting me know.
Your faith, I find it to be so interesting because you have faith. You believe in God, but spiritually you're connected. So it's interesting because when I hear a lot of people talk, it's like, I'm religious. No, I'm spiritual. But you believe in all of it.
And not to make it frivolous for anybody who has their distinct beliefs. Like, the higher being, the great I am, made it all. He knew that we were going to be diverse humans and a very diverse species, and he gave us various different ways to get to him. So use it. See what works for you. Don't vilify one to say another. This is the best way. We don't have to have a best. We just have to have a way to get to it.
Yes.
To it. You know?
Yes.
That's my belief. So get to it.
Is this what guides your belief around treating all people equal? Because, as I said, my boys know you from American Boy, but they know you from something else.
Yeah.
Do you know what's the something else?
Garnet.
Yeah, Garnet.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, they flipped out too.
You could make it up. Like, this is the one that I expect people to know me from, but also like I know that Fortnite did a good job of like remaking American Boy, and kids are like, "That's the Chug Jug song." I'm like, all right, you guys.
But yeah, Garnet, Steven's Universe.
Yeah.
I mean, and what I didn't realize, because I wasn't watching, right? But my boys were watching, right? But I didn't realize how it leans into advocating and supporting, being true, I would say, an ally show to the LGBTQ plus community.
Man, it's the honor, one of the honors of my life. So when Steven Universe comes along, I'm beating my team up. I need a voiceover because people tell me the way I speak is great. I'm beating them up. And I remember them being like, oh, why'd you want a voiceover? Go make a song. I'm like, I want to do more things. I want to spread out.
Yes.
And they're like, all right. So my agent finds me Steven Universe. And she comes, she's like, this is a cartoon. It's not much money. And I'm like, what's it about? What's the story? She's like, well, it's this is you play the big sister of this group of aliens, and I was like, let me the thing, let me read it. So I read it, and it's about this big sister. I was like, well, I can relate to that. Definitely a big sister. Thousands of sisters and brothers.
Yes.
I understand that. And then I'm looking at it, and I'm like, the head, the hair, the thing. So I had this dream one time. I had this song called Freak, and I'm trying to think of what the video is going to be because I write all my videos.
Side note, my wife's favorite song of yours.
Okay.
when we play that song, she starts dancing. My sons are like,
What is going on? Yes, Mom.
But that's more of a outside song. That's an outside song.
No, don't play that in the house. Don't play it in the house. Play it in the car.
Yeah.
So the first conversation I have with Rebecca, she's like, I'm a big fan of your music. The song Freak, the video you had, and I'm just like I'm having all these like, oh, this came from somewhere. She's like, I drew it based off of that because it felt so strong and so,
Oh, wow. Right.
and purple because, but she had to have on pants. I was like, of course she had to have on pants. And in the video, I'm in a black suit and like almost like a tribute. The video is almost like a tribute to Missy's She's a Bitch.
Yes.
None of us knew the trajectory it was going to take.
Yeah,
I just knew it was like these crystal gems from space were taking care of this little boy on Earth. And as it starts to unfold, and I'm not a good watcher of my work. I don't go back and look at it and, I don't do that. I just put it in a wild and let it be. And we do about 4 to 5 seasons of this show. And then I start going to the cons. And I'm humbled at every turn. I didn't know.
It's amazing. It's I mean, I've never read about a show quite like it.
Nothing like it.
Nothing like it.
Nothing like it.
Nothing like it.
The creators were real clear about their intentions with it. The kids kept saying like, why is Garnet a black woman? Why is Garnet black?
Right.
He said, well, she's black because why not?
Because why not?
So every other thing in power, that's the strongest thing is white and male. Why not?
Why not?
And I said, and this is why I'm on the show. I said, because why not?
Why not? That's your career. Why not?
Why not? Like,
why not?
What are you talking about? Like, there's no version of not. Like,
why is allyship so important to you?
Because we're humans, man. I don't get to tell you how you should love, feel about yourself, feel about anybody else in the same way you don't get to tell me that. I don't understand judging people based off of fear. I don't understand telling people they can't live a life because you're scared of what that life looks like. Everybody should have that barometer. Everybody should work to have that barometer of trust and decency in themselves. And if you have that and you can see it for yourself, you should be able to see it for somebody else. If you can't see it for somebody else, that means you don't have it for yourself. So that's a you thing. That's a real go figure yourself out. I don't think you hate. I just think you have issues with yourself.
Yes. Yeah. It begins and ends with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so my thing is just like, man, I love the world.
On the and I just have to say this on the show in particular, what I didn't realize is that all right, so you may know this, I'm not sure if you know this, between 2017 and 2019 there was a 222% increase in the number of LGBTQ plus characters in new series that have come out.
Good.
Right. And I think Steven Universe has played a major role in this. And that Rebecca, I didn't realize, she's non-binary bisexual showrunner.
Yeah.
So one of the few.
Yeah.
One of the few.
Yeah.
And that Steven Universe had over 40 LGBTQ characters, including the only asexual character.
Exactly. She was a visionary.
She's not.
She is, not was. She is, and she's bold and she's clear. And when I tell you the gentlest soul you will ever meet, like she barely speaks.
Rebecca Sugar.
Rebecca Sugar is like, you have to be like, say that louder, say that again. Like what? Like she's very gentle, but she's very intentional.
Yes.
And I'm inspired by people like that. It's joyful. Like I'm honored.
It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible.
Give her Emmys.
Yeah. I mean, I think it will come.
Yeah.
So last topic is quick ones.
Yeah.
Is I know you had some wild stories. Can I tell you an inside wild story that I know you have?
What? Tell me.
This is not putting you on blast,
okay.
but this will be good. Is that when you were at the book launch, at my book launch way back in the day.
Yeah.
We got a car for you.
Yeah, what happened? Did I take the car? Did I do extra things with it? Did I go crazy? Did I keep going?
Can I tell you?
Probably, I kept going.
I was like, Estelle is a rock star.
What did I do?
Do you know?
Wild night, huh?
No, it wasn't a wild night.
Oh, no.
So.
What did the bill come in at is the question.
Okay.
I'm so sorry in advance.
Can I tell you exactly what the bill came
Tell
in?
me.
The bill was supposed to be like 500 US.
Oh, no, it was more?
The bill came in at over 3,000.
What?
Yes. No. This is Estelle. This is what you did.
Wait, where did I go? Tell me the thing.
This is what you did. So we were on the phone. So they called because we were like, okay, it's got to be 500. It's a little bit more, so we're gonna call. The fact that they were calling, I was like, oh man, this is gonna be a problem.
Sorry.
No. This is good. So they call and they said, so you know, Miss Estelle, you know, she had the car for a little while, and I said, where did she go? Like, what happened?
Did I go up to
And they said, well, you know, she went after she left the event. You know, she went to this place, then she went to this place, and then she went to this party, and then she went to this place.
Yeah.
And I was like,
probably outside. I cannot deny the allegations. I was probably outside. I'm not beating the allegations on that one.
But you taught me, you know how to party, miss.
I do. I did.
Like, you did. You stopped that?
I stopped. Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, you can't do that for your whole life.
All right.
You gotta
So you were official. You were officially.
I was having fun. Like, I remember that era. I was having a lot of fun. And I'm sorry again for like.
No.
Like, I apologize. I had a good time. Thank you. Thank you so much.
But can I say,
It was a night out.
you didn't even try. You came through on just the strength to do the book launch, right?
Yeah.
But I have to ask
Yeah.
then, because you had some wild moments.
Yeah, I did.
If you think about the wildest moment,
Okay, I got one for you. I had a trip. I had to go do some shows, and I'm gonna booked to perform in Lebanon, Cannes, and Saint Tropez. It's like a week full of gigs. So I go to Lebanon and we do this gig, and it ends up being on top of a rooftop of this building, this beautiful building, but next door there's like bullet riddled.
Wow.
I'm really like, they haven't rebuilt it. That looks a little fresh. Whatever. Okay. We keep going. Our flight gets canceled from, we fly to Paris. Our flight gets canceled. We have to get on a train. We get on the train to the Saint Tropez. I get off the train at Saint Tropez. It's like 1 a.m. I'm on stage at 2. And it's like a
Okay.
club. And I did a whole 20-minute set with dancers. We knock it out. I drink maybe half a bottle of vodka that night with some Hennessy.
No sleep.
No sleep. Puke and rally next morning. Me and my friend are out on Cannes. We're on the seafront. It's a wild 48 hours. We get to Saint Tropez, and I have to perform again. I'm on stage, and they're like, yeah. So we have a couple of regulars to the club, and you know, he likes to perform with the people. I was like, I was like, scroll back. And I see this man come walking through in a tankini and some slides.
A tankini.
Like Ali G.
Oh, that's a tankini.
A tankini.
Okay, just
Ali G.
yeah.
And he has on like daisy slides like a little baby heel, and it's the slides. And I'm just looking at him going like, dog.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I'm on stage and I'm with performing and whatnot, and then I look to my right, and this man has joined me for American Boy. This one,
You said it's a duet.
At this point, so this was the part. He just comes up there and he's like, getting it. And I'm just like, all right, well, take me. But that was a wild story. A comedy of errors leading up to me and the Tankini man singing American Boy
Singing, yeah.
in Saint Tropez at 2 a.m.
But you know what? I absolutely love that.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah, it's a great time.
So when I be outside partying,
That's why.
that's why. Yeah.
You know, also too, is I realize that the energy level though that it takes to be able to do that back to back, like the stamina is ridiculous.
That's why I can't party no more. Because I'd like to be able to do it forever.
Yeah.
So at some point you have to like temper that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Slow down. Your body deserves to be here.
Yes.
You know. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
That's the wildest.
Yeah.
What about happiest moment in your career?
Jeez, I'm waiting for it. I've had a lot of happy times. I've had a lot, but I think the best is yet to come. I do believe that. Like, I don't want to be like, that's it. Because I feel like every time I say that's it, God tops it. There's moments of extreme gratification, like doing a Comic-Con and seeing a little girl or a little boy or someone who identifies as they coming up to me being like, thank you, I see myself. Thank you for voicing something that I could see myself in. And then I think about my nieces hearing my voice and being like, that's Auntie.
Yes.
That's Auntie Stell. Those moments make me feel like you're on the right track. I feel warm inside when those moments happen. And then there's winning a Grammy, and then there's winning a MOBO, and then there's winning a MOBO 2 more times. And I sit in those moments and I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm straight.
Yeah.
I can be quiet in a hotel room after a gig. I don't need to be outside.
Yeah. Look at that. Go home.
Wow.
Listen to some frequency.
Listen to some frequency. I guarantee you, if you see me with my headphones out in public, I am somewhere else.
All right. So that was Happiest is yet to come, but you have many happy moments.
Yeah.
What about so far the proudest moment in your career?
This new album.
Okay.
This new album is my proudest moment. It took so much for me to be content or to be happy with the human I am today. It took so much. I'm so proud of myself. Like, you have me crying again. I am so proud of her. Like, girl, you did it. You're doing it. You know, this version of you that you get to really tell the world you are and stand on it and live it and sing it and dance it. Like, it took me so long to get here. And I'm so proud of myself. Like, and I know wherever I go from here on, wherever it goes next, I'm going to be proud of that too. But to be able to emotionally, mentally, physically push through all of that, and it was heavy. It was like walking through thick molasses. To now be on the other side of the molasses and be like, oh, I swim in this like water. That's easy. Get out of the way.
This is me.
This is me.
You know what I should have known, but I didn't. I didn't. I think because you wear such a smile on your face, is I didn't realize how much pain you had to go through in your career. I mean, I should have assumed it.
But I mean, when you're living your dream per everybody else's version of the dream, you almost don't feel worthy of, or you don't feel worthy of any sympathy, or why should anyone care that I don't feel like singing today? Why should anyone care that because you got the dream you asked for, you got the thing you worked for. And my buddy was telling me certain times, you should probably not sing today. You're going to go out there and give bad vibes. You're going to go out there and damage yourself. Your head hurts. You didn't eat today. You didn't feed me today. You've been working out for 700 days in a row and your body is literally doing this. And you don't think you deserve a massage or someone to help you unfurl it? How will you go out there and your body's doing this? And you don't think you deserve that? You don't think that that's part of, one of my team members always says to me, you're an athlete. Start treating yourself like you care about your body. That was a ping. That was a thing. And it was like, I'm an athlete. Yeah, I'm an athlete. Hold on.
Right. Let me change.
Let me change some things.
So this album, this is the first. This is fully you.
This is me, baby.
We're meeting 100% Estelle on this.
Yeah. It's a good time.
All right, this
a good time.
this is good. This is good.
I know.
That just reminded me. This is a personal question because I was a huge, and to this day, huge De La Soul fan. De La Soul was actually, that's where in New York where I lived.
Yeah, they were the first piece of vinyl I bought in my life. 3 is a magic number.
3, yes. I mean, just one of my first two.
Yeah.
And I think that that chorus, that hook on Memory Of.
Yeah. So remember the guy that I told you I was in a relationship with when I was like 25? And I just didn't know what it was and where it was. That was me just reminding myself to not go down that road again. Never go down that road again.
In memory of.
Yeah. I love the memory of us. We good though. I remember you now. And I wrote that with Pete Rock in a publishing studio. Channeled it, let it go. And then Pause had hit me like, hey, we're working on that album. We'd like to do a record with you. And I was like, whole soul. And I met Maceo a while ago, so I knew him, but it wasn't the level where I could just be like, do you need any records? So when Pause hit me, I was like, oh. And so I called my manager. I was like, have we written anything? He's like, the Pete Rock record, send him that. I was like, okay. So send him the record, and he was like, essentially, damn, like we're gonna do this. We know Pete, we got you. Just send us the session.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay. And then they sent it back. When I tell you the honor, I sat there in tears. Like, I was 11 That was my first piece of vinyl. I bought it for 50p. Someone left it at the the school fairs. They do, like, everyone brings in their stuff. Someone had that pink and yellow vinyl at the school fair, and I bought that. Like, it's so pretty. Took it home. My uncle was like, "You don't know nothing about this." I was like, "Yes, I do." I didn't, but listened to it and like, Saturday 3 is the magic. No, all of that, mind blown. So to be on their last record and to be the single and to have spent that time with them shooting a video and listen to Dave and they were both talking. Maceo and Dave were talking to me about relationships, and then Posh chimed in, and I'm sitting in the car with 3 OGs telling me, men talking to me about their experiences in love while I shoot a video where I play the bride. I was like, God, you can't make this stuff up.
No, because when I read that was the first piece of vinyl, like that's the first album that you bought, and then to think, oh my God, but didn't I see her sitting in that car in the Memory of video?
3 is a magic number.
I was like, you can't make it up.
This is God, divinely guided, divinely orchestrated.
You can't make it up.
Cannot.
Estelle,
Yeah.
we've talked about many things.
Many.
many things.
Yeah.
Is there anything that we have not yet talked about that you want to talk about?
No, I'm thank you for this opportunity. But I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I loved, again, the flip happened. You came here and you've been
Like,
doing it.
We crossed each other.
Yeah, we said, see you. Okay, I'm going to London now. I have a book coming, and that I feel like is going to give people tidbits of how to do it. So I want people to understand that the book is not going to be salacious. It's not going to be one of those things. I'm not.
It's not tell-all.
It's not a tell-all. I don't believe in that. I'm not telling nothing. Like, get out of here. That's not what we do.
No.
But I am going to explain how I've lived my life and how I've gotten to where I've gotten to. And I want people to take from that what you will and discard the rest. Like, use it as a reference book. Don't take it on like, well, Estelle said, try it. Your fingerprint is your fingerprint, and my fingerprint is mine.
Yeah.
You know, if it works for you, great. If it doesn't, okay.
Yeah.
You know, but so the book's coming. Take that for what it is, and have fun with it, and trust yourself.
What's the title of the book? Do you know?
It's not there yet.
Is that all right? It's not there yet. All right.
There yet.
All right.
I'm running around with some titles. It's not there yet, though. Yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it should be called. Thank You.
Ooh.
Because I think that you live in gratitude.
Yep.
And even in this conversation, what I've noticed is that you have gone through the thing.
Yeah.
You're appreciative of whatever the thing was. You pull a lesson. So you're showing gratitude.
Yeah.
And that ultimately is what also allows us to have the self-worth that you have, to be able to stand in our silence and our independence.
Yeah.
And so,
It's true.
yeah.
That's a good, yeah. Yeah, I mean, my ears,
Think about
here's the thing. I got to talk to the book. Yeah, say
Think about it. You think about it.
uh,
All right. So then there is a last question
Okay.
that everyone gets. So you've had some incredible conversations throughout your life.
Yeah.
When you think back to the most memorable, who was it with? What'd you talk about? What'd you learn?
Rod Temperton. It always comes to mind. Rod Temperton. I was maybe 23. Rob Temperton wrote on Thriller with Quincy Jones, like and Beat It and Off the Wall with for Michael Jackson. This is that guy. I was mad about everything and everyone because it felt like the world's biggest uphill battle trying to release the 18th Day. I'm already signed. What's the problem? It felt like every step of the way of shooting for the stars, there would be someone to tell me why I couldn't do it. And he says, you're going to go far. So, well, how do you deal with people when they're just complete? Like, they're telling you no. He said, this is musical chairs. He said, so, learn from people. Don't burn the bridges. He said, because they'll move to a different seat and they might be less hot. And that's been the truest thing ever, because there have been so many people that I've met. And because I'm consistent, the love and the respect I get when I walk in the room is wildly different to maybe another artist who was riding high and doing whatever at the time. And I was grateful to listen. I'm grateful I got to sit in 10 minutes of him and his wife Kathy's time, or a few hours, and they would stay in touch over the years. And they would always make sure to give me good nuggets. Like, you okay? Yeah, all right. Come around for dinner. like just, and I was moving around, so I didn't get to do too much, but those moments meant like I hold on to those. It's like, don't be a dick where you don't have to be a dick. Just keep it level. It's okay. It'll be all right, and that's been like a keep it level, be okay.
And it's been more than okay.
Yeah.
It has been.
Yeah.
When I think about your career, just to even, summarize it all for me, is what I find to be so interesting about you is that you are one of the very few people who are not just famous around the world, but in particular in the US and the UK. It's a rarity to be famous and popular, because fame is, in my opinion, is like your people are aware of who you are. You're recognizable. Oh, that's Estelle, right? But popularity requires people to like you.
Yeah.
And what I notice is that you're not just liked by all, but you're liked in particular by artists, by your peers.
Yeah.
Like
I like artists.
But your peers, I could see that they love you. When I hear people talk, it's like it's always positive. It's always positive about you.
Yeah.
And then not only do you have that popularity and fame, but then through the age range, right? It's like my parents, right? Where I can't say their age because they would reach out and strangle me right now. But trust me, they're older than me.
Yeah.
Down to my sons.
Wow.
Who are 11, 14, the whole range. I'm in between. It's like we all know you, but we all like you at the same time.
Makes me happy.
That's a blessing. You lived a blessed life, and
thank
the
you.
best end note is you have made your grandmother proud.
So proud.
Yes.
You had me crying again at the end. Don't do that. It's gonna be a thing. Yeah.
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 For sure.
So, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
What did you think?
All right. I've known Estelle 15 years. It's like, 15 years. Yeah, 15 years. And I think I learned more about her in this conversation than I did across the 15 years. I know that she's been reluctant to share private details about her life, and namely the pain that she's gone through being a part of the industry. I didn't realize how impactful her grandmother has been throughout her life, that I just didn't realize. You can create your own path in life. She created this path when she was told no many, many times, not just in the UK, but also when she got to the US, and how she made a way. Without question, a big inflection point in Estelle's life was Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles with Kanye West. I strongly believe it was Estelle's confidence and building the respect in London that is what allowed her to get the invite to the studio, which then she eventually meets John Legend. John Legend eventually signs her and co-writes American Boy, which is one of the most popular songs ever penned. The lesson for all of us is to have that self-confidence, to step into situations and make the ask. You will never get unless you ask. And Estelle is a prime example of that. When I heard that, and I think this is why it hit so big in the US, I think American boys were always associated with the all-American boy, which the all-American boy was normally you live in California, you are white, you're not black, you are 6'5". But here, Estelle was saying, American boy, and she was talking about baggy pants, and she was talking about someone who I knew. She was talking about this guy, right there. Like, yeah, like really. This is who she described. That is not what the American boy was, So for her to sing that song, it was empowering, actually.